Celebrity stories often look simple, but many hide real pain behind the scenes. A private tape was stolen from a famous woman, and the whole world laughed at her. She lost her privacy, her peace, and her name, while the thief made money from her pain. People thought it was a scandal, but it was a crime. Another celebrity spoke in a strange way during interviews, and people made jokes about him. Years later, we learned he was fighting a serious illness the whole time. What looked funny was actually sickness, not bad behavior. These are not normal celebrity scandals. These are stories the media changed before the truth came out. And the truth makes everything look different now. New books, health papers, and court files now reveal what was hidden for years. What looked like greed was grief. What looked like ego was illness. What looked like drama was someone trying to stay strong. Many stars were judged while they were in pain. Many were blamed while they were hurt. Many were punished when they needed help, not hate. Today we count down 10 scandals that make full sense now. By number 1, you will see the real scandal was how the world treated them. Let's start with number 10. This is the story of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee, and the tape the world treated like a joke. A private tape spread across the early internet, and people laughed as if they wanted it shared. Pamela became the target, even though she had no control. The tape was stolen by an angry worker who broke into their home and took it from a safe. Her memoir and documentary later showed her pain and the deep damage it caused. What looked like a scandal was digital abuse. The next story was also treated like a joke, but the truth was far more painful. Now at number 9, we look at Bruce Willis, a star many people joked about during his later interviews. In the 2010s, he seemed confused, quiet, and sometimes unable to answer simple questions.
I just need more. It's so dry. Sorry.
Yeah,
People called the interviews torture and said he just didn't care anymore. But Bruce was already fighting a brain illness. His family later shared he had aphasia and later dementia, which slowly takes speech and understanding away.
FTD is not a specific diagnosis, but an umbrella term for a group of brain disorders. Last year, he was diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that impacted his speech and ability to understand.
Those strange moments were not attitude. They were symptoms he could not control. We weren't watching a rude actor. We were watching a legend lose his voice while the world laughed. The next story follows another star judged harshly, even though she was already falling apart inside. At number 8, we look at Winona Ryder, who was arrested in 2001 for taking designer clothes. The media called her spoiled and said she stole for fun, turning her trial into a circus that hurt her career. But Winona was dealing with mental health issues, a broken arm, and heavy medication. She later said she barely remembered the event. This was not a rich star acting out. It was a woman in a crisis. The next story shows another star judged harshly while she was already falling apart. At number 7, we look at Anna Nicole Smith, a model and TV star the media loved to mock. Her shows and interviews looked messy, and people called her a train wreck.
I was honored to be in our next performer's new video.
But Anna was dealing with chronic pain and deep grief after losing her son. She used medication to cope, not to party. After her death, reports showed she was exploited and never given real help. Her scandal was actually a woman in danger, not a joke. The next story shows a star punished for speaking the truth, not for falling apart. At number 6, we look at Katherine Hagel, a star who went from love to labeled difficult. She spoke out about sexism in Knocked Up and poor writing on Grey's Anatomy. Right after that, Hollywood called her ungrateful, and her career slowed down. Years later, people agreed the movie's gender roles were unfair, and cast members confirmed the show's toxic workplace. Katherine wasn't causing trouble. She was asking for respect and better work. Her scandal was actually courage, not attitude. The next story looks wild from the outside, but the truth began in a child's hidden struggle. At number 5, we look at Charlie Sheen, whose public meltdowns in the 2000s became worldwide news. People saw wild interviews, strange rants, and heavy substance use, and the media called him a careless bad boy. But Charlie was hiding a deep struggle. In his 2025 memoir, he shared that he began drinking as a teenager to cope with a severe stutter. Alcohol made him feel normal, and that habit slowly turned into addiction. What looked like ego was really pain. His winning era wasn't attitude. It was the collapse of someone fighting a quiet battle for years. The next story shows a star breaking down in public while the world turned her suffering into a show. At number 4, we look at Britney Spears, whose 2007 moments were played on every screen. She shaved her head and hit a car with an umbrella, and the media called her crazy. Shows joked about her, and cameras followed her every day. But Britney was dealing with loss, betrayal, and heavy pressure. She lost custody of her children and had no real support. Her memoir later showed how painful that time was, and how the conservatorship made things even worse. Her actions were not madness. They were signs of a woman under extreme pain. The next story is another moment the world judged fast, without knowing the truth behind it. At number 3, we look at Will Smith, whose 2022 Oscar slap shocked the world. People argued about it for weeks, but no one knew the full story behind it. Will faced backlash, memes, and harsh judgment, while the deeper truth stayed hidden. Later, Jada shared in her memoir that she and Will had been separated for years.
Mind you, I'm not there. We haven't called each other husband and wife in a long time.
Their marriage carried heavy stress, public pressure, and emotional pain. Will had held in years of hurt, and the slap became his breaking point. The next story shows how one woman paid the price for a moment she didn't even control. At number 2, we look at Janet Jackson, whose 2004 Super Bowl moment changed her whole career in 1 second. Her clothing was pulled off on live TV, and the world blamed her, not the man who did it. Janet was banned, lost work, and was treated like she caused the whole thing. Later reports showed Justin had an active role, and the industry used a clear double standard. He kept his career while Janet lost years of chances because she was a woman. The real scandal was not the accident. It was how fast the world punished her. The last story was ignored for decades, even though the truth was far more serious. At number 1, we look at R. Kelly and Aaliyah, a story people once called a rumor. In 1994, talk spread that Kelly had married 15-year-old Aaliyah using fake papers. Their teams denied it, and the media moved on like nothing was wrong. Years later, court files proved Aaliyah was 15, and Kelly used a forged ID to marry her. Prosecutors said he even bribed a clerk to make the illegal marriage look real. Survivor stories then showed Aaliyah was one of many underage victims Kelly manipulated and abused. The truth was never gossip. It was the first warning of a predator hiding in public. And just like the other stories, the signs were always there. The world simply chose not to see them. The truth is simple. Most celebrity scandals were not jokes. They were warnings and cries for help. Pamela, Bruce, Winona, Anna Nicole, Catherine, Charlie, Brittany, Will, Janet, and Aaliyah were all hurt by the media and the public. What we called scandals were really illness, fear, trauma, and abuse. We judge fast and learn the truth too late. If we don't slow down, we will keep hurting the people we claim to support. These 10 scandals were not jokes. They were signs of real pain that the world ignored. Now we know the truth, and we must choose to do better. Remember, people need kindness, not quick judgment. Hit subscribe, share this video, and tell us which story changed your mind the most. But these aren't just stories from the past. This is still happening right now. Social media has made judgment faster, louder, and far more cruel. Today, a single comment can destroy someone, and no one stops to think about the pain behind a headline. When a celebrity cries during a live stream, we say, they're being dramatic. When someone ends up in a hospital, we call it publicity. When a star speaks about mental health, people accuse them of seeking attention. The truth? They are humans, just like us. The only difference is their lowest moments happen while the world watches. We turn breakdowns into memes. We take their trauma and call it entertainment. We laugh at the very thing that is destroying them inside. One viral clip, one trending post. Their pain becomes public property. The spotlight looks beautiful from far away, but behind it are sleepless nights, panic attacks, and silent battles no camera captures. Every headline we click has a heartbeat behind it. Every scandal we share has scars attached to it. Sometimes going viral feels like being violently pushed into the fire. Maybe it's time we pause before we judge. Maybe we should replace what is wrong with them with what happened to them. Because often, what we call a meltdown is actually someone drowning. What we call attitude is a person trying to protect themselves. What we call drama is someone begging for help but not knowing how. Celebrities appear strong on screen, but their hearts break just as easily as ours. So the next time the internet rushes to attack someone, don't join the crowd. Wait for the truth. Understand the person. Do not turn a human being into a villain before knowing their story. Kindness will always matter more than trending. And the next big scandal you see may actually be a silent cry for help.